do I have any public comment that is not concerning something on the agenda?
Is that us? With the
That would be you.
Okay. Didn't realize it was going to come this quick again.
We're speedy.
Yes, you are. Did you guys get the email we sent? Okay, so you're aware of the issue on Tanglewood Drive. Speed limit's been an issue there for a couple years at 35. We got some new neighbors. We got some out of the neighborhood neighbors, not residents, and a lot of extra visitors lately. And 35, it may as well be 55. We talked to Frank County Sheriff. They've put extra patrols in there, but they've also advised us if we could get it lowered, it would help them to enforce it, especially if they're doing way over the limit. The lower we get it, the better, but it's also in the interest of safety. 25, if you drive it, is about the right speed, and I did read what you sent me, Heidi, about the how to post and how to determine speed limits. I don't know how far we want to get into that, but I think your public works director went around and agreed that 35 was probably too fast for the neighborhood with the curves.
That's
and
correct.
That kind of stuff.
He did.
Okay.
He thought that it warranted looking into. We did pull up the last time that you did a speed reduction, and there was a speed study performed to get a little information, and the Regional Planning Commission would perform that and then make recommendation to the board based on that.
Okay. So just the process is they make a recommendation to the board takes a vote on whether to lower it or not, or depending on the recommendation.
The board would start with a recommendation to perform a speed study.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then from there, we would wait for them to come back to the board with information.
Okay.
Do you have an idea of how many children?
Certainly in Tanglewood now, we've got 2 new families in there. Each of them's actually 3. Third one just came in. So I'd say we've got 2, 3, 4, probably 8 right now just on Tanglewood, all probably under the age of 10.
And we had,
they're of the age of bicycle, they're bicycling and that kind of thing now. So that's our other main concern. Well, main concern is always the children.
So do I have a motion to go ahead with a speed study?
I'll make that motion.
Do you have a
Stuck
second?
at that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. So yes, we'll have a speed study conducted, and we'll try to do it as quickly as possible, because when the weather clears, the children will be outside on their bicycles.
We've already noticed that.
Yes,
Yep.
so hopefully we can help you out quickly.
And we can help you out, save the town a little bit of money. Don't ask me where I got it, but it's yours if you want it. Little subtle suggestion. I'll leave it for you afterwards. Thank you.
No one's going to ask.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Any other public comments? Okay, if not, moving forward. The airport has all kinds of big plans for us. And who would like to speak first? We have Jim Harrison here. We have the town of Swanton here with Reg. And we have, where'd he go? Oh, there he is.
Cliff Coy.
Yes, Cliff Coy.
On the airport.
So would you gentlemen like to step up and give us an idea of what kind of expansions? Probably Cliff, you first.
If I might just preface,
yeah.
just an overview, just because the state isn't here. Cliff's here to represent the Franklin County Airport, but close to 2 years ago, the state came to the town and went through the review process for an expansion that they're planning. So the state of Vermont is the driving force behind this project. So they're planning to create a large new hangar space and do some expansions, and I'll let Cliff talk about that. But out of that came conversations with Mr. Harrison and through the development review process. So he's been talking with the airport, and he has thoughts on developing the property adjoining to that. So the town has been participating in meetings and speaking with Swanton Village to find out what the potential is to extend water to the airport. So this meeting is several different components. So the town's piece is only looking at a planning grant to understand the potential for economic development by extending water. So the other pieces have nothing to do with the town, the expansion the state is planning. So town is just looking at planning, applying for planning funds for that water line extension. That's it.
So the reason we're looking at that economic development is because of your tax base. The more economic development you have, that potentially has the effect that it will lower your residential tax base. That would be nice. It would give us a little bit of a leg up. The other thing is that the town of Highgate is growing by leaps and bounds. The Developmental Review Board is inundated with requests for new housing permits. As a town, without the economic development, we can't sustain our schools if you have that many more children. So we have to consider economic development really seriously, because we get tax base from the income of the house, but if it's 2 children and it costs $15,000 a child to educate them for a year, you go in the hole. So we're trying to look at options to allow the town to continue to function properly. And that's one piece of it. Reg, sorry, I interrupted you.
So my name's Reg Bellavo. I'm the village manager for Swanton, and I became part of this as I was introduced to this project from Heidi, and I've attended a few meetings. So over the past, since 2011, the village has invested about $7 million into its water infrastructure with a plant upgrade, distribution lines, and transmission line upgrades. Coming up, hopefully June, July, we'll be completing an older 1960s piece of MVU water line, so coming from Wall Farm Road into the front of the driveway to MVU. And that's where this project came in, that we already had planned to put a valve there in anticipation of potential future growth. So the village is playing a part because we own the water system, as far as being a joint interest on the grant application. So we have the capacity. The only issue is that there's not enough customer base for it to ROI for us. So that's why we're here as an interested party, and I guess encourage the project.
And could you just say ROI is
return on investment? Maybe when you do a bond, you have to make sure that you have the funds able to pay for that bond. So whatever the project comes in at for the feasibility study, you'd have to see that.
And I do want to thank the Village of Swanton, because this is a great opportunity for both the airport, that airport road, and the adjoining properties, and has a potential to even expand further depending on how successful this goes. But I want to thank you because you've been very helpful as always.
Be good neighbors.
Yes. Yeah.
And I can review, so the state of Vermont has put into effect a capital improvement project and airport layout plan for expanding the hangar area to the east side of our property, and then extending the runway from its current 3,000 feet length to 4,000 feet, which was the original planned runway length back in 1969 when they first paved it. It's planning to go into effect within the next 2 to 3 years. And there was talk of extending it to 5,000 feet. We're keeping it to 4,001 foot, specifically to keep jet traffic out of this area. We know that jets and communities don't typically play well together, but Bringing it to 4,000 feet allows us to do propeller aircraft and provide cargo and small passenger aircraft to operate out of the airport. And the difference in noise won't be affected, but would allow us to, with Jim's expansion and with our expansion, allow us to have a location that's right on Interstate 89. When Canada finishes its I-35, it's got 6 miles left to go. It'll be a straight shot from Montreal to Boston and hopefully ease up some traffic load on Route 78. But that allows us now to have an airport right across the border to allow transporter, warehousing, and cargo. So next probably 2 to 3 years, it's going to be happening. So that's what we've got at the moment. So far, we've managed to get Vermont Gas has laid lines in the last 2 years. We've received natural gas to the airport. Comcast has now run all of their utilities up to the airport. We've got Swan Electrics run everything up down to the airport, and the last one now is water. So that's what we're looking at.
And there were some copies, did you mention the upper part with the hangars and the taxi?
That's the expansion of the hangar space to the east. It's the east side of the airport.
Okay, there's copies of this if anyone needs.
Would you like to see it? Sure, I can pass it around. This is what he's talking about to the east here. These
Are there
additional
more
hangars.
there on the table, John? There's a couple out back.
What about sewer?
That's a good question. It's been brought up, so.
Yeah, we would have to,
Right.
that would have to have a study also. I mean, there is sewer obviously up to MBU. My guess off the top of my head would probably require a pumping station of some sort in order to get it moved down there, get the MBUs and its gravity. But
Have you thought of it, though? And that way, Molly?
today I did. Not until today, but yeah.
Well, usually that goes hand in hand, you know, so I was looking
Yeah.
at.
Yeah.
It just seems like we're saturating our town quite a bit as it is, and sewer is the stuff to prevent that from happening. I mean, even in the village center here, the schools.
Yeah, we'd have to look at the capacity. I mean, I know where,
Most warehousing doesn't require a lot of sewer. It's warehousing, it's basically a bathroom for the employees that work there. If you were to put in, a factory, then sewer would have to be something. that we
Yeah, no, I mean, if we're running water, it just makes sense to have sewer.
you know, with the new requirements for phosphorus and TMDL for Lake Champlain, our sewer plant is in the target area. So we're looking at some pretty major upgrades that we'll have to do there to handle that. So,
Yeah, I guess the question is, should we understand what's possible and what isn't while we're applying for planning funds? Should we look at that and have a definitive no, or is it possible?
so we have to look at what the capacity is. We can do that easily enough with this study.
Because right now, there's no potable water at the airport. So that's part of the reason to get, a clean, fresh, drinkable water source.
And fire response.
Yes.
So Jim, do you want to speak?
Oh, sorry, Todd?
So, first question is for Reg. With it potentially going as far as Airport Road, would that bring the potential of it coming more east towards the village for water supply someday in the future?
I don't know if we'd have the capacity for that type. I mean, we would have to, I think, I'm just throwing numbers off the top of my head, I didn't come prepared for capacity, but we were probably I don't know, maybe 2/3 of our capacity right now. So, I mean, understanding that, industry, warehousing, the airport, you're not talking more than, 3 homes for an airport, maybe worth of water, factory, maybe a couple bathrooms, so another, 2 homes, so that's not, out of the question. But to try to come way up to here and grab more families, that's, we're talking quite a bit.
Yeah, and that's, I just.
But yeah, good question.
And,
Cliff.
Cliff, is the expansion, the 1,000-foot expansion to the runway, is that towards 78 or more?
It's towards 78, I don't know if it's on.
I couldn't see it.
It's not on that
It's
piece.
not, it's not on
They
the
do
side.
have a large plan here that shows them a little bit.
So it must come almost to the.
Here, why don't you have this one,
hangars.
too?
No, actually, well, there's
Sign this quick.
3 red hangars owned by Handy.
Yeah,
That's on Handy's property, so the runway won't even extend to that.
it won't.
So,
No,
Not on that one either, no.
There's a different one here, I guess.
Thank you.
So I have a question. With more hangars, that brings more planes,
It brings more planes.
more noise?
They're smaller planes, that's what it means. So,
Yeah, they go over our house all the time.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
Last night, one almost crashed in that windstorm.
was close.
I'm not sure who was flying it, but he was just barely over the treetop.
Yeah.
And it was between 6 and 7 last night. I listened for him to land.
Yeah. He had a rough time of it yesterday.
He did. He did.
Probably wasn't expecting that wind.
No, it was not. But know that every hangar that goes up there is taxed with no services. So there's no snow plowing, there's no, all of the services that they're taxed on.
And I'm well aware of that, and I'm not
Yeah.
saying it
Right.
because I don't want the tax
Okay.
base, but I'm saying it because I want to live in the home that I have
Yep.
without the nuisance. We've put up with a lot of stuff over the years that you guys aren't aware of, that I've been over that airport a few times. And I have the reputation over there. I'm sure everybody knows who I am there. But it hasn't been pleasant.
If you bring bigger planes in, you're gonna have a bigger flight pattern, or they still gonna go right over our house?
It's the same flight pattern. So that's established by the FAA. So,
Were you aware when the state did their review for these projects?
No, it was not.
Perhaps we could connect you with the state and forward your concerns? Because again, that is the state's part of the
Right, I
project.
understand that.
Yeah, but you have valid concerns. So I'll send that to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Did they add more hangars since they came to the DVR board? Because it said added hangar area. Because that would change our plans.
No, that's what we came to the DRB.
Everything that,
That's just the DRB folder in here.
okay. I just want to make sure, because if they added more than what they came for the first time, they would change our site plan all over.
Right, no.
This-
So the third part of this is Mr. Harrison.
Hey, good evening. Not sure,
Oh, you're
I
fine.
was gonna put it over the camera, no?
You're all.
No, but is it right here, or do these guys need to see it too?
I'll see it later.
You sure?
Yes, yeah, I just need to listen.
So a little history, and maybe some people know this, but presently we own a pit behind the field days. You come in the field days road and come around this corner, and we have 32 acres right there. Before I forget it, the state is telling me behind the scenes, off the record, so to speak, that sewer and water will be run. And I don't know where that's coming from, but I'm just saying, I think they're aware of the need for sewer along with water, so. No, it's certainly not official, but I think they understand it probably, you know. So getting back to this, our pit is about depleted. We actually were at one time proposing to do 32 acres of solar there. And back in the day, Guy Ruel, I don't know if anybody knows him, he was the aviator manager or state of Vermont. What was he?
He was the director of the
Director of
transportation.
So he grabbed me by the throat, not really, but he asked me, he said, Jim, he said, I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your property, and on and on and on. I said, because we got along good. I mean, they cleared some trees and stuff off our property to make things better for the airport. And so anyway, he said, you know, you really need to consider the highest and best use of that land for the airport. And I said, you know, is that right? And he said, I want you just to consider it. He said, it's zoned industrial, commercial, and you know the airport going forward with the expansion, the runway expansion, and other things that are planned, he said, we really could use a base to put some buildings up that would work for the airport. And I said, well, let me think about it. So we looked at it, and we tend to, we came to agree that perhaps the solar there was not the right fit. And we have solar situations elsewhere, and there's plenty of solar, I think, happening around. So back a few years ago, we decided to head in the direction of doing 5 industrial commercial lots there to facilitate the airport situation. And so moving forward, we chucked the solar project in the basket, and as we proceeded here, the state came to us, and these people here probably, I didn't realize there was a situation there, but the state came to us, and we had a meeting, and they asked if, because they knew we were doing these lots here, and they were asking, would you be interested in doing some land swap? I said, keep talking. So they want to utilize this property in 16 acres or so of this property along the runway here. It appears to me for future hangars. So, but by doing that, they said that they would swap some land over here. This is the road that comes into a field days and comes around to our pit. So by doing the land swap, what it would do is it would shorten up our roads. It would give us a better situation. So then we could do 7 lots. These are all 40,000 square foot buildings, only just to start with something multi-story or single story, whatever, warehousing or manufacturing or whatever. But what it does, it really gives, I think, a situation for the airport to hang their hat on going forward. And where this water situation goes that we're talking about, I think water is needed at the airport. I really do. I mean, from what I understand, I've talked to several owners up through there. It's a project to try and get good water at the airport. And these buildings here are going to need sprinkler systems. You can get by doing a water storage tank. We've done a couple of them in Georgia, one for Bryce and one for the Morse family. You store a certain number of gallons of water to utilize for in the event of situations, you know, for sprinklers, but you still need potable water. And it's pretty, it doesn't appear like there's a good source. So, anyway, so going forward, we're pretty serious about the project. We've invested in it so far. We're going to continue to invest in the infrastructure grant situation going forward. It's a wicked project for a return to the town, I believe. But we'll see where it takes us with the water situation here. And other than that, I said, take some questions.
Was that Clem Furley's land originally? The Furley farm?
That's the land that Ray Manny, I think, probably permitted for a pit there. We bought that from them.
Okay.
Yep, that was Furley land.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Any other questions for Jim?
Chief Snicker over there.
Good. Oh, I didn't see the picture.
Oh. There we go. I'm sorry.
All right, I see where that goes now.
So Cliff, what would be the advantage of warehousing for an airport?
Well, I think if anyone's ordered anything off of Amazon Prime in the last month, it didn't get here by truck if you ordered it by 2-day delivery. So warehousing would allow for any manufacturer, any wholesaler to import, from Canada straight off, or would be a source for any type of product that people want to move in and out of the airport in a rapid basis. So if we wanted to, so for instance, FedEx and UPS both fly into Montpelier right now. Our runway length extension would allow for both of those carriers to fly into this airport, and then both UPS and FedEx have warehouses right off the airport in Montpelier. UPS used to have a warehouse at the airport about 5-6 years ago, but the warehouse was too small for them to use. And if anyone goes about in front of Hannaford's about 6:30, 7 o'clock, you'll see about 6 UPS trucks all shuffling packages back and forth because they don't have a spot up here.
Interesting.
Don't forget, I'm not really saying it'll all be warehousing either.
Right. Right.
Because with the airport right there, it could get attractive for, all kinds of situations, really. So. FAA has already signed off on the land swap, okay? The survey is being done right now for the 2 parcels. FAA, I didn't realize that they control quite a lot around the airport. No, but I mean,
They do.
and so, you got to satisfy that situation, and anyway.
I got a question for Jim.
Yeah.
So this land swap, what's that doing to the field days? I see you have buildings in an area that was field days, I thought.
We're going to meet with those people tomorrow. So, no, I don't. I mean, this is the back parcel of that.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't.
Is that what it is for parking area?
Yeah. I mean, definitely searching for parking, no doubt. 'Cause you're losing some, right? This fall.
We'll be looking for more parking.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Parking, and that's where they do the grass drags for four-wheelers and all that stuff, right?
Exactly, we'll have to move that. But you're not planning, Jim, to do that right off?
Oh my
It'll be a
God.
couple of years.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
It'll be, I bet it'll be 5 years. It'll be maybe more,
That's what that gives us more time to do more planning also.
Right. I'd like to think otherwise, but from what I've seen, it's gonna be a while.
Right.
I had a question, Heidi. This project here, is that fully permitted? The state project right here, or maybe it's for Cliff?
Which project is that?
One where they put all
The- This one on the plan here for the
That is
hangars.
still, it's still in the planning process.
Oh, okay, so it's
Because
never.
that's a change to the airport layout plan.
Oh.
And so that has to go through and get FAA approval.
Okay.
Anytime you change the design of the airport, with the future design of the airport, it's got to go back through review with the FAA. So that'll be at least a year or two before we get that squared away.
How about the runway extension?
That has already been planned. So the engineering for the original design of this is a newer design. This map is a newer design. The original airport layout plan calls for not that section where the pit is, but just the first half of that to the south. That's already been on the airport layout plan. And the engineering for that is supposed to be completed this spring, and then the runway extension, the engineering is supposed to be completed with that by next spring, so a year from now. And then with construction to start probably the year for the taxiway extension, taxi lane, the year after that. So we're looking at fiscal 20 or 21 before we even think about breaking ground.
Do you need a tower for this much more air traffic, or?
Nope. We don't. It keeps us under that classification of requiring a tower. So we want to be large enough to provide business traffic to the airport, but not so large that we've got to have a lot of added measures to operate an airport. It's still a state-funded airport, and we need to justify, if we had to get a control tower, or if we wanted to import custom, have a customs office there, we'd have to justify that both at the federal level and at the state level for that expenditure.
And question for Cliff. Does the state have any intentions of buying any of the houses across the road from their runway?
Not
They're
my
just
knowledge.
about skinning over the roofs as it is now when they come in.
Not to my knowledge.
You could bring the runway another 1,000 feet closer.
No,
Something they might
I don't
want to
have
think
any.
about.
You can, Trini Broussard or Dan DeLabre are the two people running the aviation board for the state of Vermont, and maybe the people to contact.
Vern?
Just to put the gentleman and the lady at ease about the noise and stuff. I fly in and out of there, mostly pistons lately. Pistons are generally noisier piston-driven aircraft. What Cliff and everybody's proposing is the type of aircraft be coming in to move boxes. They're actually turboprops. They're jet engines. It sounds bad, like F-35 bad. It's not. But they have basically mufflers on them, and they're very quiet. At the airport I fly out of, we have them there. They are quieter than any piston we have. So when it comes to the noise and the increased runway length, I'm not real worried about the noise here if that's the kind of airplane that's going to come in here. There's also this thing called noise abatement procedures that pilots, the FAA would or can make us fly a certain way so that we reduce the engine noise. And that would include like a steep approach coming in instead of skimming the trees, or a steep approach going out, getting up to altitude quicker, and then leveling off instead of this constant gradient like that. So that's another option if if we do get that much traffic, the FAA could mandate noise abatement. They actually have that in Burlington, procedures for pilots there. I know what you guys are concerned about. I got an issue in my neighborhood with noise, not with airplanes, but I'll put you at ease. There'll be increased traffic, but I guarantee you probably won't notice the cargo planes coming in.
My issue isn't at the airport, it's when they do their approach and they circle and they go right over my house every time.
And that used to be part of, Norman Gagne had a airport next to us, runway.
Yeah.
And I know he was registered with FAA over it. And I'm wondering if that's still in effect, because now the airplanes are closer to our house than what they used to be.
That, if you can, I'll give you a quick primer on aircraft. There's a giant number on the side of them.
I'm well aware of that. No, you don't have to.
So
No.
if you call me up and say, this is the number I want you to talk to, I can do that for you. But there's a published procedure for
I've taken care of that before. I know all about that.
Well,
I just want to be good neighbors, I don't want to be down
Sure.
fighting,
Yeah.
you know, because they're just barely skimming the treetops, and that has been an issue. And the noise,
Yeah. Most of the noise from aircraft, believe it or not, isn't the engine. It's the propeller. So a lot of the turboprop aircraft that are, would be operating out of there would have they have a much larger engine, so they turn a bigger propeller a lot slower. Whereas it's the small aircraft, the Cessnas and that type of thing, that are turning a small propeller really fast, that makes that wee noise. So
I have a Harley, if you tell me where you live, I can give you a taste of that.
So if you've gone to the airport before, has anything improved?
It's better now. It had to be improved. I called FAA, I just want to stay good neighbors. I don't want to go through that again. Last night was the first really bad experience in a while.
Okay, anything else for this project? Questions, concerns? The board have anything else? Okay. Thank you very much, all of you, for coming. Hopefully we can all continue to work together and hopefully work out any problems we have and go forth and, in this case, multiply.
That'd be great. Yeah, really appreciate that.
So moving on,
Yeah.
Mr. DePady.
That's the loudest thing around here is a helicopter.
We've talked about that. Thank you.
Do you want to stay and watch?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you.
Where'd you get that? No one even asked you.
No, and I'm not going to answer. There you go.
The speed limit got turned to 35. I'm not missing.
I didn't see the sign.
You didn't? Okay,
No,
good.
okay.
Good.
I'm the airport manager, so if you have any issues.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Tell Jane I said hi.
I'm supposed to be the
Have a seat,
partner,
Chief.
so that's everything I have.
Oh, I'll sit right beside Sue. She'll keep me
George gave me a hell of a ride one time.
Chief DePady, what do you have for us today?
I guess I'm gonna give you guys a update as to where we are. From the last time we talked, which has been quite a while. We have moved into our new space. Everything is completed. Looks good. Working fine. Don't have any complaints with that right now.
I didn't hear what you said. What did you say?
Our move in to the new space
Oh, yeah.
is all completed. Oh, yeah. It's like, ooh, there's a shop there.
It's an awesome new space.
Yes, the airport, the fire department did a fabulous job on their office. If anyone hasn't seen their new office, they did a great job. Absolutely great job.
So, and everybody seems to be happy with it. Not too many complaints. Down to a minimum. Started trying to get the trucks back up to shape. Engine one's got some issues with it. Just got a new brake clutch put into it.
Clutch brake. Yeah.
Or clutch brake. Same thing. We'll throw that on my dyslexia thing.
That's
It also needs to have about $1,500 of repair in the transfer case for the pump panel. So that's We talked to Sharon, we waited to see what we were gonna come up with the grant and stuff before we went ahead with that. The grant fell through, so we had ordered the parts, and that's coming in to repair that. That shaft seal was leaking a year ago, leaking water into the transfer case again. They are going to change the bearings and the seals this time, hoping that the shaft is not the problem. If the shaft is the problem, then we're talking a lot more money, but they're not thinking that, so we'll hope for the best. What else?
Dry hydrant?
Dry hydrants. Dry hydrants, we had them come up, review them. Very interested in the one at Noel Farm. Talked to Guy about the engineer's design. He's happy with it. He wants to see it on writing before he even signs a waiver for it, which I agree with him 100%. But that one's going to be a typically different type of hydrant than we usually have, because that's going to be a gravity-fed hydrant. So it actually will have the same hydrant head as you would see in the village and stuff, where they shut off, which would entail the department doing maintenance. So that's another thing that we need to look into, that we would have to do hydrant maintenance on that one.
What kind of maintenance?
Making sure that it's pumped out in the fall and antifreezed,
Right.
so that it doesn't freeze. And then we have all of the issues that if the stops don't work, or we've got all of those issues that may come up and arise.
Yeah.
A little different than a dry hydrant.
Yeah.
But because of the gravity-fed system, it's about the only way to go at it. So that's in the works. Araldi's pond, let me get that one right. That one he's looking into as well. He's going to come up with a design on that. And I talked to the daughter of the landowner. She was there, and she didn't think her mother was going to have a problem with it. So, but like I told her, I says we were just doing preliminary looks and getting all of our figures in order, and then we go and get a. And she goes, well, that would make more sense. So, so those two are a go. And the third one we looked at was on the Cassidy property, or the Cassidy Road, down by the cement culvert. And he wants to wait until late summer at the lowest point. He says it has to have at least 2 feet of water in it in order to make it viable. So that one may be on slate for next year, but he thinks it's a pretty good spot for one. So.
But he'll get back to you
Yeah.
with estimates and.
Yep.
So for the general public, why do you do a dry hydrant or a gravity flow hydrant?
Well, we're going to do the dry hydrant so that we can get easier access to them. We don't have to dig into ice in the wintertime. We have access to water that's open all the time. Gravity-fed hydrant system, that one worked because the pond is higher than where we're going to ever put. We could put a dry hydrant in, but Guy really doesn't want the sight of a PVC pipe sticking out in his front yard. So he said looking at a hydrant he could deal with a whole lot better, which it is a little more aesthetic. But.
Right. And you place your hydrants around the town so that it gives you a better water source for all of the community members.
Yep. And
so, I know the 2 other locations, but where is Araldi Pond, or whereabouts?
that's up on Hannah Road.
Oh, Hannah Road.
Yep. So it would actually, that one there would actually help both Highgate and Franklin. up on that end. Because Franklin doesn't have any water source at that end either. So that would be a joint effort there. It would help out both towns.
Fire up there, you
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
quick access.
Going down to East Highgate, you have to pull that hill all the way up. So it's hard.
Thinking about my house too.
Got a nice pond right there.
I got a beautiful pond.
Yeah. So, I mean,
It's starting to be quite a few houses down that way. We
Yep.
just built another one.
yep, wherever we can get them. The grant now is from 2,000 to 5,000. So, they increased the grant for dry hydrants.
So we'll put it back in front of the board when we get estimates and.
Yeah. So as far as that, I'm waiting for the plans to come back. You should be seeing them shortly. He was supposed to do them this week, so
Okay.
give or take.
All right. You had a chance to look at the emergency operations plan
Briefly.
thoroughly.
I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't.
Well, I think each year it gets a little better, and this year Regional Planning Commission put all of the flood
Yeah.
properties in the plan. So we have a response
Yeah.
strategy, and we don't have to dig up all those numbers and.
No, I think that we learned a good lesson on that one. Even though that it went kind of smoothly, there was some rough edges there getting equipment in. But we found out that we can actually request equipment prior to needing it. So that would, because then that way there, they can already get their resources going. If we wait until we need it, then they have to get these people up and going. Whereas if we request it early enough, if we think we're gonna, and maybe a possibility that we're gonna use it, we need to call them ahead of time so that they can get these people mobilized. They won't move, but they will load everything and get everything ready to go. So that they would have a quicker response time. That's one of the big things we learned.
Yeah, it was definitely a learning experience, and it was pretty humbling to find out how quickly things could happen.
Yep.
And how many people were involved in this process.
Yep.
You know, everything from volunteer nurses and doctors were available. You know, all of our ambulance services were on hand. You know, it was just amazing how many people came together for that. I mean, it just, you know, everybody from Northwest Regional Planning to Vermont Emergency Management. I mean, they couldn't do enough for us, so we are very grateful for that system.
And being a
Works
flood
very
victim
well.
myself, it was scary. It was, like I said, I've been there 30 years, never gone through something like this before, and I hope I never go through it again, because it was scary.
We hope you never go through it again.
No, me either. No.
So, did the select board have a chance to look at the plan and verify everything was accurate for your contact information? If the board could make a motion to accept that?
I'd make that motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And again, I would like to, for that event, I would like to thank Chief DeBatey, all of the firefighters, Wendy, Heidi, Bonnie. People did a fantastic job.
Sharon.
Yeah, Sharon was there too.
A lot.
Does anyone have any questions for Chief DeBatey?
No.
Just if you could touch on some of the illegal burns that you've been attending and that there's a protocol, and maybe just get that information out to the public so they know.
It is up on our website. It is on the town website. It is on the community outreach website. We posted a bunch of information on open burning and illegal burnings. Just because you have a permit, if for some reason there is a nuisance call, somebody who can't breathe because the smoke is blowing in their house, or somebody doesn't like the smell of the smoke, and we're called, we are bound by the rules of the state that we need to put it out, even though you have a burning permit. If we arrive on the scene and it's an illegal burn, in other words, if there's any type of plastics, carpets, linoleum, anything that is not natural wood, which includes pressure treated plywood, creosote, soaked wood. Am I missing anything? I think I got the other composites. There we go. I knew there was another one. Rubber, whatever you got. Anything that is not a natural lumber or a stick of wood cannot be burned, is considered illegal. If you want to burn a tree, or you want to burn tree branches, you can burn tree leaves, but if the neighbor calls, be aware that it's going to get put out. And the only reason why we have more problems in the springtime and in the summertime is because everybody starts opening their windows and it all goes into their house. So, and the next thing you know, we get calls. So as it is right now, there is 2 sites that we are watching carefully right now. One that we had an issue in already, and may become another issue again. I just got an email 2 days ago on it. So, but if we go the first time, I can call Solid Waste District.
Or he suggested just calling the police.
Well, the first time around, if we feel that it's, if it's somebody that just did it and, we kind of want to give them a slap on the hand, I can call Solid Waste. They write them up just a warning. It's a notice that, you've been told you can't do this stuff. You get caught a second time, then we call in the state police and they can write a ticket for an illegal burn. And then at that point in time, if it becomes another issue, then we can eliminate all burning on that property. And it's actually dispersed from the state, saying you can't burn nothing on that property anymore, because you can't be responsible for it. I don't know how they can do that, but they have their ways, I guess. But once again, it's one of those things where people need to realize that even though we're burning just strictly wood, we're finding more and more contaminants in that smoke that deal with respiratory problems. Firefighters involved. I mean, more firefighters now are dying of cancer, lung cancer, than they ever have because of all of this stuff. We breathe it in all the time. We all do it. I mean, how many of us sit around a campfire and bring it all in? We don't think of it. So that there's all bad things in there. So we just have to understand that people have the right to breathe clean air.
So I think you have a question for me?
So I don't know if it's the chief or maybe the board, but now that we're starting to get warmer weather, where are we standing on central dispatches and antenna going on the cell tower? I know that you're starting to get calls and sometimes you have struggles with.
Should be any day now. The contract has been signed. Everything is in place, so.
I don't know when they're gonna, I
Locate
have
there
not heard
anytime now.
anything on when they're gonna put the repeater up.
I have no
Well,
idea.
put it this way, I know they had money for the last 3 years, so.
Yeah, I didn't know if you knew more than we did.
No. No, part of that lands in St. Albans City Police Department handles the central dispatch. And I know they're gonna switch that over eventually. I don't know who's gonna be doing it, because I know they wanted to get out of it, but I don't know. So that's just hearsay. So, but I know the money's there. It's been there. It's been an issue going back and forth as to how they were gonna implement it, so.
And then earlier you stated that the grant fell through. Was that the one to buy the new?
Yeah. For the 100,000, yeah.
Well, we haven't given up. We're gonna try again.
Was it is it a yearly grant that to apply to?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a phone call scheduled on the 8th. Find out what we can do differently.
Well, a lot of us in this area, Sheldon got denied theirs. So
It's
there's a
very
lot.
competitive. It's a national grant, so
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's not like a state of Vermont grant, so. But
Probably more towns out there worse shape than we are.
Mhm.
maybe,
Well, and I think the other thing that's not helping us is that we're only asking for 100,000 of 350,000. Because they're looking at, you know, at towns that can't even afford a truck, so. That's,
mhm,
and there's probably a lot of them out there.
yeah.
But everyone be careful about burning out there, it's getting pretty dry.
Yep.
Yeah. Say what?
Well, I'll tell you, it probably rained quite a bit, but give it a day.
Still wet.
Maybe you need about 3 weeks.
Well, your end's gonna be wet for a while.
I am gonna wet for a long time.
Okay, the board have anything else for Joe?
So, sounds good.
Anything else from the public? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe.
Keep up the good work.
We'll try.
Okay, moving on to the treasurer's updates.
Won't be this weekend.
Just give me a call and I'll make sure I'm home.
Yeah, I'm bringing it with me.
Hello.
Check warrant. No Randy tonight?
Yeah, just give me a call and we can
Yeah.
make sure I'm home.
I don't have much else for you, but I thought I'd give you a little update on the delinquent taxes, since I didn't have much else to update you with today. So, we started November 2nd with, not counting any Jedware properties, a delinquent tax total of $276,094.91. Today, that's down to $91,485.40. So,
Fabulous.
91,485.
Great.
So since November 2nd, $184,609.51 has been collected.
Okay.
It's been tax return season, so many people are making good. And there's 51 parcels that are on the delinquent list. 34 of those parcels are on a payment plan.
Great.
So I'm hoping people that are not will come forward soon and get on one, because we are ending the fiscal year, and we will be starting the nasty grams for tax sale. I am expecting Sullivan and Powers this month for our fixed assets. I need to speak with them tomorrow and call them and get firm dates. We don't have firm dates set in stone yet. I know they did say this month, so. I can't think of anything else.
Great job, Joe. Thank you.
Trying to clean it up. There was some on there that really needed to.
Get cleaned up.
Yep, just needed a little kick.
Did anyone have any questions
Still more than
about
I'd
the
like it to
checklist?
be.
Yeah.
It's getting there.
Yes.
It's getting there.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Probably.
All right. Well, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I'll wait here for my check in.
So, Wendy, how goes the town clerk?
Okay, there are two sets of minutes, April 19th, and then you had a special meeting on the 23rd.
So do I have a motion to accept April 19th's meeting minutes?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Do I have a motion to accept the April 23rd meeting minutes?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Awesome. Couple reminders. Green Up Day is this Saturday.
Do we still have bags?
We do. We had to request another shipment, but we do have some left.
Good.
Oh, I gotta grab some from there.
Yep, we had the first case we went through like in a nanosecond, so I called Montpelier, got him as far as St. Albans, they ended up in Fairfield, I went to Fairfield. We got the bags.
That's good. Thank you.
So those are here, you can pick them up. You can drop off the filled bags here behind the building or leave them roadside for pickup on Monday, May 7th. The road crew will be scanning the town. Household Hazardous Waste Day, there's been a change. Northwest Solid Waste District missed the deadline to apply for the permit that is required to hold the Hazardous Waste Day. And ours is the first of the season. So they have rescheduled it to August 25th. They are encouraging people to either bring their stuff to the Georgia site, or Swanton has their satellite day on the 19th of May. So those are options if you don't want to wait till August.
So please do not bring your household hazardous waste May 5th to the transfer station.
Right. I think there's going to be people on site directing you to Georgia that day, but not our fault. We just have to try to get the word out. I did post it, I put it in the paper. I did the best I could on short notice. Dog licensing, we're plugging along. 780 dogs as of today.
Wow.
Vonnie has been busy. As of May 1st, we said we were going to write tickets. We issued 31 tickets today. So people should be getting those tomorrow. So there were some people that had appointments or that had made arrangements, but anybody we had not had any communication with got ticketed. $25 per dog. So we'll see how that goes. Memorial Day. Joe's left, but the fire department's going to be busy preparing for that. They have their barbecue May 28th at 11 a.m. The parade will be at 1, and the Highgate Volunteer Fire Department auction will follow the parade.
Yes.
Sharon, you got anything to add about the parade?
I'm hoping to, I am trying to get a hold of Keith Plouffe and hoping to get a committee meeting sorted out, but I do have confirmations from several groups that they will be attending the parade. And I need to get with you to order the portalettes.
Yep.
But yes, we are moving forward. So,
I'll have to get a dumpster for the fire department too, that reminds me. Okay, let's see. The vault maintenance was done. We had the door completely maintenance and replaced the lock, so we no longer have a dial pad, we have a touch pad, and it's phenomenal. Love it. So that went very well. I have a piece of paper I need you to sign about the appointment of April St. Francis to Northwest Solid Waste District to make that official.
okay.
You already made a motion and appointed her.
Yep.
And that way I'll get that back to them. She can attend the next meeting.
And Mary Souza has been approved as our town health officer.
Yes, her certificate came in today, actually.
Yippee.
Yep.
The hook.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think the last thing I have is just to put it out there that we are, again, Jerry, can you see this? Filling a part-time zoning administrator position. The job is posted until Tuesday, May 8th. 16 to 20 hours a week. And you get to work with us. Woo.
Don't tell you for that.
And that's it for me.
Okay. Thank you very much. Heidi, administrator items.
Yeah, just a few things to keep us up to speed on grants. So the first contract in your packet was from KAS, and it is for phase 2 work. So this is a proposal to do, bless you, to do the work that was recommended in the phase 1. The reason for this review was to meet one of the pre-award conditions in the ADA construction grant.
Right.
So they would need to do a little bit of scope work down the drains and then test some soil, figure out if any contamination is seeped out, and then to close out. So the proposal was for $7,539, and this would be one component in the grant budget.
So that's basically to do with the floor drains in the fire department and in the highway garage, because they don't want any
I was gonna cutting that floor.
unmentionables getting into the groundwater.
Cutting that floor.
No.
Just filling a hole.
Little rubber plug does the trick. So, do we have a motion to accept the bid of KAS to do the phase 2 property work of $7,540?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
So the next piece of information in your packet was more information on the roof repair. Going forward on the roof repair. So you did commit, you made your decision to go with R&A, but you asked for more information about what would it cost to do the whole roof. So it was quite a bit of money.
So the original estimate was for $35,500 plus a bond amount of $1,050, so $36,550. That would basically do the cross section of this roof, would not do either end. So the board had asked for an idea of what it would cost to do the whole roof, because we thought, well, you know, it's not going to quite match. It might not crimp right on that steel roof. So we thought, well, if this is 35, maybe we can get the whole thing done for 70. Well, it was not quite accurate. We guessed wrong. Their bid would have been, or would be, $99,250 plus the bond of $3,000, which comes to $102,250. So that's where that stood. So we had already accepted the $35,500, and now it's a matter of what's the pleasure of the board. Do you want to consider going to the entire roof, or stop at this point and do $35,500 plus the bond?
You've spoken with them since yourself?
I have not spoken to them. We tried to contact them when we met last time.
Yep.
We're not able to reach him. Heidi did reach him after to ask about doing the entire roof.
I'm still up in the air on that myself. I just not happy with what I'm seeing, and what I'm hearing and seeing.
So if we give them permission, or if we just stay with the original bid, they do that original section.
Right.
And then we put that up there, can they, after we realize like, okay, the crimps didn't look the best, or the colors don't match the best, then maybe later date, we could, when we have more funds available, we could do the rest of the roof? You know, within, say, a year, within 6 months, so the steel wouldn't change colors or something like that. I mean, just
certainly possible.
Was that bid including painting the roof?
That does not include painting the roof.
I don't think I read
The first bid, 35.
Yes, that's just basically to do the cross section, which he's gonna, the reason the bid was more than twice was because he was going to reuse some of the material that's currently up there.
And I don't believe that would work well myself, doing something like that. If you're taking it up, you should take it up and change it, or if you're gonna repair it.
Well, I think the valleys would all be replaced, but
Yeah. Yeah.
Heidi, didn't you say with the Macy Bridge, you quoted $168,000, and you said there was extra money from that? Why don't you take whatever's left, put it towards a new roof? Myself, I see where Steve's coming from. You don't run it, when you start fooling around with the roof and stuff, I don't know what's left over from the bridge, but I think personally, as a taxpayer, I would like to see the whole roof, and if there is extra money, put it towards the whole roof.
I did not put her up to that, but I think that's really a point I would like you to consider.
Yeah, I mean.
That is considering, but then I think we redo an RFP and put out for the whole roof.
Right.
That way we have.
But if you move money around,
No,
you're gonna
because
bring.
you have
If
committed.
you move money from one thing to another, you're gonna bring it to the tax.
absolutely, it has to be a
Yep.
town
Absolutely, I
vote.
just-
Yes, if you move that capital budget money, you're not allowed to without a town vote.
You have committed to a firm, so they've put you in their calendar. And then
Gotcha.
after doing that, you requested more
Yep.
information.
Yep.
While you're here, what would it cost to do it? But you know, as you said, they're replacing valleys and re-crimping metal, which if there's any way that you can make a decision to replace the roof without dipping into the capital funds, but then at town meeting, ask the voters if they would be willing to put that back towards the cost of the roof at that
Where
time.
would the additional funds come from?
I have to agree with Sue and obviously Woody that Heidi showed me the bid, and the first thing I thought of was, we just saved over $100,000 on our bridge project, minimum. And as much as I 100% disagree with moving money before the project even starts, which already happened at this town meeting, this is a perfect instance where it would make perfect sense. The roof absolutely needs to be fixed.
Exactly, exactly.
I think it would be worth holding a special meeting to move $30,000 from the bridge to the roof. And you would still have ample money if the bridge project went over, to see what would be actually left over to bring back to the taxpayers.
You guys have been dealing with the roof for quite a while. And
It's been numerous boards.
It's been.
And we'd like to be the board to fix it, but we also want to make sure that we're doing the right thing.
Yes.
We've got a lot of secondhand news and things in the past, and we'd like to make some good decisions and make it happen right.
And when you start having a roof leak and leaking, and you're talking mold, you're talking a lot of stuff.
There's been too many things that wasn't done that we keep hearing
So
maybe the way it should have been.
Shelley, you're saying hold a special meeting to approve the 30,000?
Yes.
A
What are
special
the-
town meeting.
Right.
What are the requirements to do that?
It's 30 days.
And you can't do it by a ballot. You'd
It
have to
can't
do
have
it
to be for vote.
Right.
It doesn't matter if 30
Alright.
people show up or 100.
So
Like when we had a special town meeting to change from a calendar to a fiscal year. I think
So I
12
think-
people showed up, but
I make the motion to do that.
Well, any idea what the cost is?
To host a special meeting.
For a special meeting,
Yeah.
it's us.
Yeah, just our
Okay.
time.
You wouldn't
With a
have
floor
to
vote.
print
It's a
ballots,
floor
you
vote.
wouldn't have to do.
no expense, just our precious time.
So how quickly could that happen?
30
What's
days.
30-day
30
notice?
days.
So I make a motion to do that, and then to hold a special meeting, see if we can get the 30,000 to finally fix this roof and be done with it.
I'm done with it, exactly.
I'll second that.
It looks nice now with that house on East Highgate.
Oh my goodness, doesn't it?
You want to see something? You want to see
It's
something else that
beautiful.
looks nice? Not in this town. Drive by Greenwood Street in Swanton too. Right next to my other house, they demolished that house.
Oh, they did, that's
Looks
right.
beautiful right there now.
Okay, so a motion on the floor for special meeting,
Just derail this, but-
30 days notice.
You guys want to pick a date so we can get it noticed tomorrow?
Calendar.
Can't think very clearly tonight.
We need some time. It takes a day or two to get it into a newspaper.
So we're talking June.
We're talking probably second, third week of June, maybe? Or anytime in June,
The
actually.
5th?
Because tomorrow
Probably.
Tomorrow's
It's a
already
Tuesday.
the 4th of May, so I wouldn't even be able to get it into the paper until at least Monday.
The 5th is a Tuesday.
12th, 13th, 14th.
That's graduation week everywhere. Do you think that would make
Oh.
a difference?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Let's go with the 5th.
She can't.
I don't know if that's enough time. I wouldn't be able to get it into the paper till the
Oh,
7th.
where's your?
Yeah.
You don't want to interfere with graduation, we've got too
No.
stressful.
The week after that?
Yes, you did.
19th? What? I heard mumbling, so.
19th.
I was talking about.
Should be
Oh,
the third week in June, Tuesday.
then, you know, pushing it out, because
So
when's
we
this
would have
contractor
a
thinking
select
about coming?
board meeting
It's
that
coming to
week.
August, right?
Yeah,
but
I
you'll
thought
have
that's
to
what it
have
was, August.
Some notice.
I think we're in the schedule. He didn't think that that was gonna be that much more time because this was gonna be so
What are the,
cumbersome
Just
to
$100,000
argue it
more.
and
on that
do it.
schedule in your hand? What are
Yeah.
the
Not that
meetings
much
in
more, but
June?
100,000.
When's planning and
Materials.
June 21st for select board.
You don't think he's
so the
dead?
7th and 21st?
Yeah.
It's only the 3rd.
What's, the DRB's not the 7th?
DRB is the 14th,
Right,
So
select
it's
board's
7th.
7th.
And the 21st.
Unless we do it, no.
So is planning the 19th or the you
Fifth
said
is
20th?
great.
Yes,
5th really works.
Yeah. If I could get it in the paper in time, I'd do it. I
On the
can't.
7th?
20th,
What day of the week is that?
Wednesday.
19th.
That's planning.
26th.
So that Monday or that Wednesday of that week?
18th or 20th?
If you did it the 7th and there was a select board meeting that night, they could approve spending after they knew what the results of the vote were.
So if I get it in the paper, because I can send it to the paper tomorrow, but I'm gonna miss the deadline for the weekend messenger. They'll go out Friday night. So then.
We got that guy right here.
Yeah.
I would think you.
Tell them tonight.
So if it was in the paper May 7th, we could have, we could do it June 7th. That's 30
You want
days.
to do it June 7th? We'll have our
Like
regular
before?
meeting after the
So
vote.
have that at 6 or
Yeah.
6:30?
That way we can.
Okay, June 7th.
You've got the title for your article now.
At
Is that in
6.
time?
6, okay, 6. Special vote.
6 o'clock.
All right.
Make your motion again.
That's a motion.
That's it?
Yeah.
Good.
You just need a second.
Right here.
Yeah,
Actually,
I already
it's-
did it.
Got it?
So what
Okay.
did we pick, 7 now?
So
Yeah,
7.
the regular meeting.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Those opposed.
All right. That was a big deal.
You guys gonna be able to work in this place? Or we gotta move you all out for a while?
If I can get to work. Both sides of me are gonna be under construction soon.
What's going on the other side?
You're planning that, aren't you?
Well,
that's enough
hopefully,
this year.
hopefully there'll be
You'll be alright.
under construction soon.
You
Just,
could walk across the river, remember?
I've got them
Until they put the dam in, right?
You need a boat.
We're just gonna put you up a tent. Okay.
So the next item is DeWolf. Just to let you know that contract is in. That is for the consultant work for the Macy Road Slide Grant. The agreed upon price, and I did not have a chance to go through that with a fine-tooth comb yet, but we meet on that project on May 9th. So we'll definitely have it wrapped up by then. But if you just give approval, we can execute that.
Does that Adrian look at those contracts?
We've been working a lot with our insurance company. They send templates and they're
Okay.
excellent at going through and making sure the town is protected. We have sent some contracts to Ed, but these, they send us a template, they inspect the insurance certificates, they go above and beyond, and I was thanking them profusely, and they said that's what they want all towns to do, because it's in their best interest to make sure the contracts are
Do they all,
well done.
does the League of Cities and towns get involved in there, or?
Well, our insurance company is
Right.
the Vermont Leagues of Cities and Towns, so they're
Well,
wonderful to deal
So the
with.
left hand does
Right.
talk
they're-
to the right hand, and,
Mhm.
okay.
Okay, so have you had a chance to look at the letter of agreement for professional services?
They look very professional.
Do I have a motion to sign?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Okay, just some troubling news, pardon, about the cleanups. You authorized the cleanup on Hempyard Road. Since that time, I've been notified that
Two
the
of the guys
district's...
escaped.
On four-wheelers, both of them on four-wheelers.
Quick, Heidi, we're losing them.
I've been gone for a while.
The disposal fee for tires has gone up $2 per tire. Yeah, so I said, put the
How many
brakes
tires?
on. Barry was here again and said he thinks it's 300 to 400 tires down there.
Wow. On the land that was donated to us?
Oh, wait,
No,
sorry, I'm
no.
thinking
No,
of
no, no.
Lampkin
Lampkin
Street.
Street.
This
No,
is
no.
just,
This is,
cleanup.
Yeah, no,
Hemp
I-
Yard, sorry.
The hemp yard.
Because if it was
He-
land that was
he did say-
donated to us, that was supposed to be moved off the property.
So it's increased $2 per tire to what, 5? So it's
$5.
$5 a tire?
Five is our
Yeah,
cost.
there's
Yeah,
a
times that.
fee
Farmers
schedule
looking
in
for
there that
tires.
covers everything. So that's a handy fee schedule. But, he said if we can find someone to dispose of them for less, great. They're still gonna cover half the cost. They're still gonna take half the tires. They don't care if we stash them and dispose of them a few at a time as we,
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
so,
$5 is the overall cost, so our cost is $250.
no.
No, 5.
Our cost is 5.
Well,
For a small
either
tire.
way, it's 6 one way, half a dozen the other. Either they take half of the tires and they charge us 5 per tire for the other half, or we say we pay $250 a tire. It works out the same.
And if it's a large tire, it's 10 cents a pound.
Yeah.
That adds up quickly.
They used to, for a while, they were making driveways with them. And I don't know what happened, but they banned them in the state,
Yeah.
which was, I think, was foolish because they made excellent driveways.
So we
You
gotta find a
could have got
farmer
rid of a
who's
lot of
tires.
tires
You
in
get
this
any
state.
farmer contacts?
I do, but all my
It's
farmers
just
want
the oil.
cut tires, they don't want
I
to
know.
deal with.
I-
There's oil on everything.
Josh, I
You
contacted.
put tarmac down, what's in it?
My parent,
They were chewing them up, using it for the interstate too.
I think they were more worried for
They have their own
competition.
They're
all full themselves.
Maybe,
they
I don't
told
know.
themselves, because I've been
Too bad.
talking to some people, and I've been trying to get rid of them for you, but everybody's full themselves.
Yeah.
Well, worst part is we'll get them out of there and then a couple years we'll be back.
Have we got a
Well-
place to store them?
No.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm saying.
Not really.
But what is going on at the hemp yard? Is that still on schedule, or is that also in?
If you want me to move forward, yes, but there's tires there, so you'll be paying $5 a tire for half of them.
How long we got to, like, hold these contracts in suspension?
Well, they would like to get moving as soon as things dry up. They'd like to.
Let's hope it does pretty quick.
Yes.
We're having a special town meeting. So, I mean,
Send everyone home with a tire?
that's even better than my idea.
Thanks for coming. That's not gonna do.
Anybody else got a
Put
big tire?
yourself out there, right, Shelley?
Oh no, I think we figure out the funds and try
At
to get
least
rid
you're
of them
onto
the proper
something.
way. I mean, we can't just
Other
leave
than
tires
that.
laying around our town.
I agree, but if we gotta move some significant amounts of funds around somehow, that's gonna be an opportunity.
With all this already being said, have we came up with the money on the first figures that we talked about? On the $3 a tire, when we were doing that?
You authorized that cleanup.
That's right.
Right, with
But
the,
where are we
with-
gonna do the
based
funding
on-
on that versus the 5? If we're going on a... Wake up, John.
I'm concussed. I think I'm kidding.
I'm
I got
not
staples in there.
clear on your question. Are you asking what the difference between our original
Yeah.
and what this would
That
be?
Yeah.
I don't know if we had a clear number on how many tires were
Yeah,
at
'cause you
that
don't know on the tire.
site.
Exactly.
They were estimating 300 to 400
400.
tires at the other site. I'm not sure that we know a clear number down there, but much less.
Fire. The chief just.
Don't go there.
The chief just talked about that.
Okay. Let's move on.
I mean, are we talking, anybody been down to the hemp yard lately? No.
Bruce, you done been there?
I know the land that was donated to us, he was supposed to remove all the tires off the property before it could get transferred. And then that was part of it. I remember that. I remember standing there and he said they had to be removed. So.
I think where they throw the garbage is way before the land that was donated to the town. I think it's.
Yeah, it's up the
Bangnosh.
Carter Hill Road.
I believe it's Bangnosh's,
Yeah,
borders Bangnosh's property. Well, that's where it used to be. I'm sure that's the same place they still throw it.
I think so too.
Well, theoretically, we do have a place you could store them for now. You know, in that shed there.
That's what I asked.
property.
That's what I figured.
I mean,
Kinda wanted to say that, but I guess you got it. That's good. Why not?
speak up, Steve.
Well, well, it's a building not being used.
Right. I mean, you could put them in there for now until we
It's right
figure out
there.
how much we got and.
And we could liquidate them as the money comes in for funds.
I just
I mean,
don't
you know
want. My fear is having a pile of tires gives people a spot to put more tires.
That's exactly what happens.
That's
Once that gets cleaned up, yeah.
So if we start a tire pile, that pile will grow. I just soon get it cleaned up, put a nice gate, put cameras, and be done with it. Try to find funds, like Bruce said, during a special meeting or something, but I don't know. If we just pass on to the next board, then we're not really doing our job.
Yeah, no, I mean,
So
I expect to take care of it. I just, I'm making a suggestion that if you needed to put the tires from that property, you could throw them in there.
Well, they're not, it ain't like you start a pile because they'd be in a place.
just the
If they were
same.
neatly stacked and whatever.
That building is not secure. The door is gone. I mean, I assume deal with it.
You think if somebody's throwing a tire out, they're gonna worry about being,
Well, that's,
throwing it in there?
Just
if you're
saying.
talking about the garage that's over on the old Carroll property, that's behind a locked gate.
Yeah, I
It's
just
not, it's no
assume.
public access.
I just assume deal with it. Be done with it.
Yeah, I wonder, I deal with Woods a lot. I could ask them where they dispose of their tires, and they have a pile of tires right now, spring work. I buy a lot lately myself, and we could find out if they have some kind of a place that could possibly save us some money on when they do theirs. You
A lot
know,
of them got contracts with farmers.
I don't know if they got an awful lot of tires for contract with farmers. But, I mean, we could find that out, and bring this back up. In the meantime, if you're talking, if they're cleaning that up, put them in there till we find out ahead, maybe we could save some money that way, you know?
Bring them up to the Nishi farm, you just built that new barn, so you have to have more bunkers.
Yeah.
What's it, is there anybody around that cuts the things, or?
Not anybody I know around here that does.
No.
Northwest Solid Waste, when they were at the arena last week, said the ones that cut them are in Pennsylvania, and the ones that burn them are in Maine. So, they're going out of state.
Out of state, nothing in Vermont.
Yeah, we had, when we used to have to organize our own hazardous waste days, we found a firm from Maine that came and left a container, and they gave us the rate. This was several years ago, but it was like $2 a tire. So I don't know if we still have, yeah, I don't know if we still have contacts, but yeah, if everybody could ask one person.
The only reason I
we
say
could
that
buy
is because we've already talked about the $3, and then all of a sudden we're going up to $5. We should probably see if we get any angles around it. I mean, maybe we haven't spoken to the right people for something different, you know? I'm just throwing it out there.
Right.
If you want to spend the town's money not thinking about it, then whatever. Just saying.
I don't know, I understand where Josh is coming from, get it over, get
Get
it
it
done
done, I
with.
understand that as well.
I'm not necessarily thinking of the Lampkin Street because there's so many tires, but if we had 10, 12 tires on the hemp yard, you know, pay the bucks and get rid of them. If we got 100 tires up there, well, then that's different.
Anybody got a count up there?
No, that's what I asked, yeah.
Because you said 300 to 400.
That's-
Where did that come from?
that's Lampkin
There.
Street, yeah.
Yeah, not up there. Okay.
It's down over the ravine.
Oh, yeah.
They back up and unload them.
Stabilizing the bank.
Couple loads of dirt. All that matter. Okay.
Motioning it, tabling it, thinking about it.
Well, the longer you hang on to them, the prices could go up even more.
Exactly.
Like you said, it's a one-shot deal, they're gone. If you hang on to next year, it could be $10 a tire.
I don't think it's gonna go down.
No, it doesn't.
No, never go down.
It'll never go down.
No, it won't go down. That's right.
I think, let's table the next meeting. When are they supposed to come and clean? Or when were they supposed to come and start that project?
No date is set, but Barry was visiting
Okay,
this.
so next,
this
let's
schedule.
table till next meeting. You wanna do your.
I can do some research for the town as
Would you
well.
mind
Because I
doing some
call a
digging?
lot.
I can try.
And if they are doing their work there and they could move them to that building, if there's only 10 of them or something, until then, and then we know where they are
Yeah.
to get at them, they'd be all together. The
Send
station.
Pat over to hemp yard and
Hemp
see
yard.
if there's only 10 or 15 over there, then maybe the cleanup crew can start over there and
Right,
get at least one project done.
yeah, that would be the place to start.
Okay, so tabled. All right,
That's it for me.
okay.
I have some things for you in executive.
I got some stuff. Sidewalks, painting.
I lied, there's one more contract. Sidewalks, crosswalks, very
There you go.
frustrating.
That's what I meant to say.
They did come back and paint them,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it came up the same day. So they
mess.
have said again, they believe it's a product issue. So I did put an email in the Dropbox from them, they're looking into it.
We should ask Reg when he's here, but I noticed the Swanton ones, they've been down since last year. I don't even know when they did it, but they got like little bumps on their painting on the crosswalks. And I don't know what kind it is, what manufacturers, but Plow's been going through all that right on 78, right in the middle of town, and they still look good. So,
I don't know what it is, or the roads are hot too, you can't paint them when they're cold.
They came, it was wet and it wasn't warm.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
It was
When
a
they were
cold
doing it,
morning.
I doubted it when I drove by. I said, that ain't gonna
I was
happen.
like, "Ooh."
But
You gotta have nice hot pavement for it to stick into it too.
I would think, and
They're-
clean.
Yeah, their position is that the manufacturer's application instructions say you can do it down to 32 or something like that.
So they don't mind coming back, make it right.
They're looking into it. It's not our problem.
Right, exactly.
No.
We paid
but
for
it is.
something, so it is.
Yeah, usually nothing.
It's not our problem, but it is.
Right.
Yeah,
What was
definitely.
the other thing?
That was one.
Oh, okay. So mowing for the parks.
Yeah.
What's the pleasure there? I know Ty and Brian had said they would do it again if that was our pleasure. I know Pat said, do you want me to do them? I said, I don't really know.
And no, that's the other thing I had to, Pat wanted me to tell you guys that they're starting their 4-day work weeks. I think this week's birthday. Pat was sick today, I do believe. The mowing thing, I mean, the guys do have a bunch of work, but I mean, definitely, I think for now, let's let the town guys do it until we start getting a good project list going and then seeing where we're at. Then maybe we can call in reinforcements then, instead of just handing it over right off. How do you feel on that?
My feeling is, if we've got that much work in the highway department, let's get it done.
Yeah.
Let them to
Especially with
figure
weather
that.
this year.
Right. You know,
The other thing too, I was thinking, and this is all Parks and Rec, maybe the new rink manager will be able to do some mowing.
So, Mark and Ty, what's your thoughts about that?
I think, and this is just me right now talking, is I think this person, this first year, it's going to be way too much of a learning curve to expect them to be on a lawnmower. Once we figure out what this person has for time, we figure out if it's possible.
We can revisit that at a later date, but
My
they're going to
only
be.
fear with that is when you hire someone, if it's not in the original job description, and then you pack it in on more, and then they're going to expect more, unless you put it in their job description now and just say, hey, look, the first year is a learning curve. You know what I'm saying?
I believe that there's wording
For ground maintenance or something.
Right. When we interview these people and we can put it out there that there would be a possibility of it in the future, you know, don't blindside them by any means, but I don't think we're limited that this person couldn't do it, but definitely think this first year, they come in July, start learning the building, and then September we're making ice. It's a learning curve.
Yeah.
July's right in the middle of scheduling season as well for ice coming up, so I really like this person to focus solely on getting the reins down pretty tight on facility and then planning and creating future programs.
Scheduling soccer too, right?
Sure. Yep. I mean, it's
August.
Make sure that
Late August.
the hitting the ground running, hopefully. So.
Personally, I would agree with that, because I think it's more a recreation position than a parks position.
Right, I think the potential for recreational opportunities in the town can be much, much greater than we were able to provide at this point, having somebody be the center point and
I just know
moving
it's
all
fun
that.
in the Mozo, right?
Linda works 70 hours a week too.
Right.
She
Yeah.
does? Yeah, that's what she said at our last meeting, remember we brought her up?
And she has part-timers.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has part-time help with her as well, so.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to,
Right,
I just don't like adding all this labor. You know what I mean? That's all.
It's not really adding, because you've been doing it the last couple of years, right? Having Ty, Brian, do it
In 1 year.
so, it was last year.
And it just,
Who was doing it prior to that? Was it the town crew?
Town boys, yeah.
Town boys?
Prior to that, it was the arena employees.
Yeah. 7 years, so
Yeah.
8 years ago.
2008, 9, 10 years ago.
Well, you had
Through a lot of
Henry
time.
Benedict when I
Oh, right,
started.
there were
Henry
two-
was
there were
doing mowing.
Yeah.
2 full-timers at the facility at that point
Mm-hmm.
with recreation.
But, you know, it's gone through a bunch of different cycles of how it's been done.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've nailed down the right way, the wrong way, but it's worked.
not getting down.
I mean, it depends. Do you think they have a full schedule for the highway department?
Yeah, they
Leftover
would, yeah.
Mill Hill. We've
Trees.
all-
Trees.
2 projects on the Tart Road.
Trees,
Yeah, we got the
culverts.
frontage road project.
Yep.
Now, Josh, I'd bring that up while we're talking for a second. What happened to the highway department? should look at some of the trees, especially on the Gore.
Oh,
The Gore Road right below me, I don't know why they're not in the road. Now that I just we were talking about trees, I'm looking and going, oh, not in your mind, but below it. They look to me like a windstorm had blown over, and I don't know why they haven't the other
so
day.
last year was the first year we asked Ty and Brian to do the mowing, and the funds came from, where did it come from? again?
Highway.
Highway. And we had extra money.
So
You might have last year, but the highway crew is already through all of their overtime for this fiscal year, and you cut it for next year.
Right.
So,
I'd love to say yes, but we gotta go pay for them.
they do still have, the highway guys have about 15,000 in their budget still, but they have 3 more pay periods before the end of the year.
Who's a proportion of that?
What was the cost of having the mowing done last year?
They didn't do it all year though, right?
The highway. It came out of the highway.
June, I believe I started, right after Memorial Day, I started. And Brian started mowing the additional.
It wasn't a lot extra.
I don't remember off the top of
Either
my
way,
head.
it's gonna come out of the highway budget.
Yeah.
Right, because we're either gonna end up paying them overtime or paying Ty and Brian.
Good.
Yeah, so damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yep.
Now, if it comes to the recreation position or whatever, with the director's position, I don't think it'd be taken off the table 100%, but I just don't think for this year, this person's gonna be able to grasp everything that needs to be grasped, as well as ride around on a lawnmower.
Kai, can you tell me how many hours it roughly took you to do all the parks?
So the parks, took me between 4 and 5, and I believe Brian another hour on top of.
Yeah, I thought the town guy said one good day to do everything. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's trailer and mower and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
And now we're just talking parks. The arena property comes out of rec budget, correct?
Yes.
And that
4
takes
hours a
4
week.
hours a week to do.
So one good day, they could mow everything. Because they were pets.
In the summertime, it's half a day. They have 10-hour days, 5 hours for parks. Brian's always done the fields out of the Parks and Rec budget. So it's a half a day.
For one person?
I don't know how many people, I mean, Ty does it himself.
As
So
Brian
that's-
did a little bit of the, he did the Mace property, the park and ride, and, the small part that borders the Mace property.
What do you guys
Yeah.
think?
It was about 10 hours to do all parks and the arena property a week.
What do you guys think?
Like you said, we're either way. We're gonna, Bruce, comment on that?
Yeah, because Butch used to do them on Fridays, right?
Possibly look for, ask around for somebody who might be interested in
Well, we got people interested. I
a
mean,
little part-time mowing.
that's not the problem there. We got that. It's just,
I don't
The
think,
question is, does the highway have 5 hours to spare during the week?
Right.
Pretty much. I don't know that answer.
I think the highway department itself's got higher priorities.
yeah. Yeah. Alrighty then. Got the answer.
Okay, so Ty, are you
Yep.
willing to continue with the mowing for this year?
Yeah, if that's what the board so chooses.
It would work for me. Josh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, make a motion?
I'll make that motion. Tell you,
I think it's gonna have to be two.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'll make that
Ryan by
motion.
extension. We just can't ask him that.
Yeah.
No, he was talking about it last night when we were here.
Okay. All the
So
motion's
motion,
been
do I have a
made.
second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Gentlemen, what did you come up with for a recreation board?
Well, we asked around the room what we had there. We put, was myself, Ty, Ryan, Karen Fortin, Brian Spears as the Little League rep, and Brian Fortin. So that puts us at 6. We had decided 5 to 7. And we alternated terms for this first appointment around. So 3 of us were at 1-year terms and 2 of us were, and then 3 were at 2-year terms.
So,
I forget who.
It's in the Dropbox.
no, I see all that.
You see that?
And should we put out a letter asking for interest, or do we just take the previous board's recommendation? I just, you know what I mean? It just feels like this is, Randy called me today and he addressed some concerns as well, that we should open up and seek all letters of interest first before we just appoint. So that way we can see all the names. I mean, I'm okay with that, trust me, I'm good with that. I just want to make sure we cover our bases and say, hey, look, maybe there's other people who want to join this board, I don't know.
Well, we haven't seen them yet.
Hey,
Either on recreation or.
I hear you 100%. I hear you 100%. But the point of, you know, we had someone write a letter to us, and there are some valid points in there, and you know, that board, right? If you leave that board as is with those people, that's pretty much a hockey-minded.
Yeah, pretty much. That's, you know, that's.
You know what I mean? That.
Well, those people are what current recreation is now and facility.
Yep.
Minus the 2 ladies over there that are not part of that board.
Yep.
So, there was, you know, we started the alternating thing so that we were to be able to change 3 people.
Yep.
And I think going into this first year, we are the people that know, I mean,
absolutely.
the top priority is making sure that building makes money. And
Stays open.
I agree.
It stays open.
So what was changed?
Well, making sure that it's opened up to anyone who is interested, not just we get a list of 6 people and we appoint
How would you
those 6
handle that?
people.
What would we do?
Put out a letter of interest. Is there anyone interested in being on this board? I mean, did you guys already decide it's a 6-member or whatever?
It's 5 to 7.
5 to 7.
Is it the bylaws that we proposed 6 weeks ago, probably?
Is there any conflict of interest or anything like that? That was the other concern Randy wanted me to
Right, we'll have
ask
one
about.
One of the guys, Brian Spears, he prefers to drive the Zamboni, he wants to drive the Zamboni, and he said that he would be on board for Little League. So we decided to have Highgate Little League have a seat on the board. And if any employment things came up, he would just recuse himself.
Yep.
So, I don't know of any other conflicts. Whether it be customer space stuff. But I think this director thing, with the director would eliminate a lot of that. Any kind of customer conflict stuff.
I think in our bylaws that we proposed, it handled how to recuse yourself when you felt and that you're required to. So I think I know the concerns. I had some of the same concerns, and I think we mitigated some of them.
So, and after this first full year, there will be at least 3 positions open.
Right.
per appointment. So,
I think, you know,
while I don't want to discourage anyone from wanting to become involved, because that is definitely not the case.
Well, so I guess that'd be my,
There's still opportunity to put a letter of interest out there.
I guess
for
that-
the one
I
seat
guess
and
that would-
see if anybody.
I guess that would be my ask, if there's anyone interested to put in a letter of interest.
Does it matter how many's on the board?
5 to
5 to 7.
5 to 7.
How many's on it now, though?
6.
6.
Well, nobody's on it yet.
Oh,
Right.
Nobody
Waiting to be appointed.
waiting to be appointed. That's right. No, but I'm just for the numbers. the
so, sitting on the Parks and Rec since we reestablished it, we've always had seats open.
Oh, I know, I'm
Yeah,
on board.
we've had people show up for one meeting, and I don't know,
Well, I
it
think it
scares
might-
them away
Yeah, okay.
because of it's more involving than they thought. Just hearing what it is. I haven't been, or we haven't as a town been able to find people that
Not too
want.
many people want to go out on a limb on that as well.
But it might be different going forward, knowing that you have a person that's going to coordinate things for you and do some of the back work, so that not each one of you has to take on such a huge portion of work.
I'm absolutely okay with throwing that out there, looking for letters of interest to fill that one. If the select board tonight chooses to accept our recommendation of the 6, but letting people know that are interested in it, that even though we're hiring an employee, the board knows that one employee can't fill 9 part-time volunteers roles.
That's a very hands-on position.
Yeah. If you plan, if somebody wants to be on part of that board, then we're still spending time doing stuff. It's not showing up once a month and going, okay, great, and moving on from there. We'll see you next month. It's still very, very hands-on. It's gonna be. Yeah.
And we thank you, because
Right.
it is very hands-on and it takes a lot of time, and a lot of energy.
A lot of devoted time,
Absolutely.
definitely. Guys are great, doing a great job.
But I would say, open it up for the remaining spot on the board. Take letters of interest.
I would love to get some new blood and new ideas.
Right.
Yep.
That'd be great.
Yep.
There you go.
And otherwise, I would say approve the 6 that the boards have chosen, with the 1 member to be
We
decided
decided.
at the next select board meeting.
You making that motion? We need a motion on that or anything? I'll make that motion.
What do you think, Josh?
Ones that we have,
Okay.
add the
Do
one.
you just want to post it around town?
I can put it everywhere I usually do.
Yeah, the whole
You don't need that in the paper.
gamut, yeah, social media.
So you're making a
Town
motion
website.
to appoint the 6
Yeah. I
per
mean,
that list, per
That's on it.
terms.
Yes.
Okay.
And then for the one position to,
It'll be a one year.
Yeah.
for 1 year? Yeah.
And
Okay.
maybe if you got more applications, they
Josh,
would be
you
on the
seconding that?
board, but they could be like a committee member and
Okay.
attend and.
How about it?
Yeah,
These are
just
open to the
because,
public.
if
Right.
you're not gonna be a board member, then there's
So
nothing
this-
saying you can't come and help out anyway.
Right.
Yeah, that would be open, for sure.
Still could be,
Yeah,
So it's a 7th spot for a 1-year appointment?
right.
Yes. Okay. I'll get that out there tomorrow.
Okay.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay, ayes have it.
And our intention is for that board to,
Who made the motion on this?
Steve did, yeah,
Josh
right here.
second.
to really take effect as on the 30th of June. That'll be start of, every month, we want to have everything start going.
About the tractor too, any news on that?
We're trying to get bids when we'll start. I got parking lot bids to do for line striping, tractor, and there was a third one I said the other night. I don't remember the third one, but to come back before, website, before the 30th of June.
Would you like us to talk about the gas piping tonight?
It's up to you.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we should do that.
Okay, what we talking?
Gas piping for the new dehumidifier at the rink.
Okay.
I do believe the contractor that we chose had 10,000 or something like that in provisions
Sounds
for
right.
for piping the gas. So basically, the natural gas comes out on the outside of the building, and then the proposal was to go inside the building, run around, and then go back outside the building to the dehumidifier. Well, doesn't really make sense.
Makes sense.
Ty reached out to a boring company who would do underground directional boring, and he can run it right over there for $4,500, correct?
Yeah,
And then there'd be some patching of the asphalt in the area where his machine goes down, and he wanted a price of like $13 or something a square foot to patch, but obviously I think we could probably patch it.
When I spoke to him that day, I told him that I would foresee the town doing it, but just throw it in there so that way we know
You got
apples to apples.
Yeah, I'd say the town would do it as well. I mean, that's still gonna be a cost, because it's still a cost. But I mean, if he had 10,000 in there, we would less that out of the contract, right? And I think we already agreed to those terms with him. And then it would just be the 4,500. So it would actually save 5,500.
$10,870.
So we'd save.
It's 45 plus the hookup?
No, 4,500 to have it hooked up to run the gas over there, and then just patching the asphalt.
And
With that
we'll
asphalt,
have to
we
do
can go back.
Okay.
the meter side and
So he'd probably have another grand or something in that.
preferred, I'll do on their end.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Okay.
need anything on the floor?
Well, yeah, I think
make
we
a
have to.
motion.
I think we need to have Heidi talk to preferred, make sure,
He's good with that.
that's my opinion, but I don't know how it all works.
That's the way we signed the contract, was that we would come to a mutual agreement about the installation of the gas piping and what the contract deduct would be.
Okay.
So the board could make a motion that that's what you would like to do,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
run that by John and
Is
see.
that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
I just need to get some more details from you
Yeah,
before I have that conversation with him.
I'll forward you the contact for the directional boring, and then you can work it out with him, and when preferred okays it, I can contact Ryan and tell him to come up when he can.
Do you have any time tomorrow?
No.
Lunchtime.
Don't tell me you
Still
started
days.
sleeping.
No, on Mondays till
Okay.
June, but
Now, Ty doesn't sleep.
No, I don't think he does.
I have been, but nights go back in June, so. But yeah, I'll get the information to you, and he was ready to come up on Tuesday when I sent the email out. He was just waiting for the go-ahead before then they get busy, so.
And I did talk to my truck driver. He is going to move that trailer for you.
Oh, great.
So hopefully we can get it moved in the next day or so.
Thank you.
Anything else from the board? Heidi?
When you're ready to give me another shot, I have one more contract for you.
Okay.
Here's your
Shoot
shot.
away.
You guys all done?
All set?
Okay. The build contract, that's the consultant for the Village Core Master Plan. So we're meeting with them, but this hasn't been approved by you. I had thought you approved it at the last meeting, but I said I wasn't ready, so you didn't. So please authorize that expenditure, $24,995 for build, which is also under a grant, a municipal planning grant.
Okay, so do we have a motion to,
Is there a match or anything, or is it just the 24,000, they cover the whole thing? The
We
grant?
have a match in that grant,
Yeah.
yes.
How much?
I think those are, I don't want to say because it's 8,000, it's nothing, and then I think it goes to 33% above that. And it was a $20,000 grant, so we're putting in approximately 6,000.
and we had 10 in the capital improvement plan?
For?
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah, we'll
Okay,
have
just
a
wanna make
little
sure.
bit
Yeah,
left
on
over.
that basis.
Mhm.
So do we have a motion to accept the build grant expenditure?
I guess I can make that motion.
Okay, a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
We won't sign it till the meeting. We're nailing down some dates with them and making sure we get all the meetings we need.
That's what we discussed earlier. Yeah.
So,
Sharon, one more thing.
yes.
I know we talked through email about the sidewalk project.
Yes.
I think it's time to talk about it here. Is that all right?
Yes, absolutely.
So Brian and I, at town meeting day, we asked for $1,000 moved from the CIP, from the fire department floor, I believe. We would like to make sure it's, I guess, okay with the sidewalk committee to put those cement pads in along the sidewalk for the benches. We'd like to do it before Memorial Day so that it's done for them. Saying that, the sidewalk committee's not meeting until the 15th or 14th or 15th.
15.
It's not really a sidewalk. It was never in the scope of the sidewalk. I don't know if it's a select board issue.
Yeah, I
to
would
do.
kick it back to you and the select board,
Okay.
Parks and Rec and.
So Ty wants to put a concrete pad underneath it to keep them from sinking in the ground like they have
Bring
been
them
doing
up.
for years, yes.
Bring them up to the sidewalk now that we actually have a sidewalk in the park.
Yep.
It'd be
And the
three,
money, and you had the money to?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
there's 3 benches and 2 picnic tables that we're gonna do
Yep.
with the funds that we feel we can do with the funds that we need.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Second,
Yeah,
Where
no,
are you
second
facing
that.
them?
You're gonna stay where they are?
Are you facing them to the park or to the road?
We're not the road, but open for
Do
opinion.
they face the road now,
Yes.
the benches, yeah.
And then, so there'll be one in the middle from the corner of the sidewalk here by the parking lot to Mill Hill Road, or Lampkin Street, sorry. Right in the middle, and then the middle of each half. And then 2 tables will be parallel with the parking lot, about almost 30 feet from the parking lot.
Story with the way the cars always line up, are they gonna be able to park on that? Coming on there? They
Some will
really-
probably try.
That's done, it should be done, so it's all locked open, right? Or they have to
Plenty of
stay-
parking at the school, that's where I park.
And here.
I get that, but
Here,
there's, for all the years that we've been here,
Oh, I know.
there's been 1 million people parking on that park side, so how are we gonna keep them off it? That's what I'm saying, we're gonna ribbon that
I
off.
think we have a sidewalk now, utilize St. Louis Church.
I think you're gonna find it.
Yeah, there's a lot of parking. Mhm, the park and ride.
There isn't as big a parking lot.
No, I get that, but
If
I'm
we have
telling
a
you
lot of
now,
seniors,
if people aren't aware of it,
Maybe we can
they're
get
gonna
Marshall
go in
to
there.
bring
Oh,
that little bus
absolutely,
down.
yeah.
So I don't know how
Maybe
we're gonna
some
avoid that.
cones or, I don't know, maybe
I don't know.
Jersey barriers
That's a big
even
kid.
for a while until people get used to it.
okay, so we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? So, yes.
Thank you.
Do you need assistance?
I think we we marked it out last night, get that result tonight. And I think Randy Pudbaugh has offered his concrete experience.
Fantastic.
And I think hopefully if we get some sunshine, it'll happen very soon.
Yeah, gotta dry up a little, that's all.
No, that's great. Thank you again.
The park looks nice, those dead trees are gone.
Things are starting to come up out of the ground too.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, all your bulbs are coming
Mhm.
up.
Over on
It's gonna be beautiful.
Falls Park looks nice.
So, okay. Is there anything else?
Well, yeah, just on that topic about how this park
Yes.
is getting utilized, there is an opportunity to apply for funds right now through AARP has a public space grant, and I think we could apply for a pavilion down
Ooh,
there.
that would be nice.
That would be very.
So, I have started it, but I could use some help on what we would do for a pavilion and how to get a rough estimate on it.
I think Brian's already got big ideas, yeah.
Does he?
We got
Yeah.
a quote or a brochure for some gazebos that are made
Perfect.
from over towards Chateauguay, by the Amish. And
Okay, so get in touch with Brian.
Yeah, he was, he'd be excited about that.
Okay. And I did send you some info on the other grant.
yeah, that's gonna have to. Is there a time limit on that?
Not really.
Can it wait till second week in June?
You can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to Highgate.
Okay, anything else?
Is that? No.
Okay, I'm gonna thank you very much for coming and make a motion to adjourn our regular select board meeting.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?